Okay, so I'm on to Friday of week 13. I know one thing, I had two clauses up here on Wednesday, so I know I'm going to have two major lines. I'm going to have two of the major horizontal lines that show a sentence. So I'm going to start with my independent clause, which was an opening in the trees now cheered him with the hopes. So I look at these, and the main line has either a direct object or the predicate adjective or nominative if you have one. I didn't have one of this. I did have a direct object when I look up at Tuesday because him was a direct object. So I know basically the kernel or the kernel of my sentence, the main part. Let's write it right here. I had a subject and a verb and a direct object. Now, when we go with our subject, normally we'd just write it on this line, but because we had a gerund and they're different, I'm going to point you out to down here on the bottom left-hand corner. Gerunds get written on this little raised up thingy and put there. Now this would be a gerund that's being a direct object. My gerund was being a subject, so I'm going to do this. Draw my line and drew a little stair-steppy thingy here, and this is going to be opening. Now as long as you have opening here, you're good. You knew it was a subject. Whoops, I should have written that in red because it's the answer. Okay, and then the verb of this sentence of the opening part was cheered, and the direct object was him. My line's not quite long enough. So now I look at, okay, I had an, which I know describes opening, so it's going to hang down there. I'm going to write an on that. And then I'm moving over, I have in the trees, that's a prepositional phrase that described opening, so I'm going to do that. And I know the is going to describe my OP. Preposition goes here, in was the preposition, trees was the OP, so it goes here, and the goes here. Sorry, I didn't show you that on here, but all you have to do is find prepositional phrases. They all go like that, okay? We hang them down off of what they describe. So I've got in the trees now. Oh, now, I already said now it describes when he cheered him, right? So that goes there. Cheered him with the hopes. Doesn't that describe how it cheered him? So, sorry, wrong pen. Draw my prepositional phrase line. It has an article in there, so with was my preposition, hopes was my OP, sorry, and it was the hopes. Okay, that does my whole first clause. An opening in the trees now cheered him with the hope. So I've got the first half done. So now the rest of it is all going to go connected to whatever it describes. And I think I told us wrong earlier. On Wednesday I made a mistake because I'm just looking at it going, that the church bridge was at hand, doesn't that describe which hopes they were? He was hoping that the church bridge was at hand. So it's describing hopes, not cheered like I had originally said. So this is wrong. My apologies. That's not an adverb dependent clause. That's an adjective dependent clause. Okay? Since it is an adjective dependent clause, I need to hang it off of what it describes. Okay? So since it's describing hopes, I'm going to do my dotted line coming down from hopes. Okay, sorry for the confusion. I went so fast on Wednesday I didn't even pay attention to that. Okay, that is the conjunction word. Yes, it was a relative pronoun, but it's being used to combine the two sentences. Okay, so now I've got that there. I'm going to have my regular horizontal sentence line. I look at this half. I'll go up on Tuesday. Did I have any predicate adjectives or predicate nominatives? No. So it's just going to have the regular old subject and verb spot. And bridge was my subject. And was my verb. Okay? So when I look at that, I've got that the church bridge was at hand. That is here. The and church, what do they describe? Bridge. So I write in the and church. Okay, was, I've got that. At hand was a prepositional phrase. It does describe was. So I'm going to do my prepositional phrase lines. At was the preposition, hand was the OP, so it goes there. And now I've got every word in my sentence on a deal. This was difficult. If you have opening here, remember that's okay. And knowing that it describes hopes was difficult, obviously, since I got it wrong. So if you have it hanging off of cheered, don't feel bad. At least I made the same mistake. Good job.